It's no secret in the handheld community that AYN is the best of the best in terms of hardware. They proved it with the Odin 2 line and then with the dual screen Thor. That all continues more with the new Odin 3. This happens to be the most powerful Android handheld at the moment. So much so that it's kind of cutting edge in this space. But since then, that changed with the GPU driver support developing at a crazy rate. With those developments, this is becoming a tinkerer's mini Steam Deck. I'll get back to the performance in a little bit, but for now, let's look at the Odin 2 line and how it compares to the Odin 3. With the help of some friends, I've borrowed these handhelds to get a comparison between them all, and I'll share my thoughts about what I like best. The Odin 3 screen is possibly the best screen minus the Odin 2 Portal, with it being a 7-inch screen. It has a 6-inch OLED with 120Hz refresh rate. This shares the screen with the top screen of the AYN Thor that was released previously. I think it's my favorite screen I've seen on any handheld thus far. The 7-inch one on the Portal is amazing too, but this just has slightly higher pixel density because it's 1 inch smaller. The buttons are also my favorite of the bunch because they are the quietest except for the Odin 2 Portal's bumpers, which I like because they aren't loud or clicky. The sticks are similar to the Portals as well. This really helps it feel closer to a normal controller or a bigger PC handheld. The D-pad is the same as all the AYN devices except the Portals is just slightly bigger. They all feel very tactile and have a soft click. It's still one of the best D-pads out there. All the smaller buttons are very soft and quiet like the Thor. The other models have louder and harder to press buttons. Oddly enough, my favorite analog triggers of the bunch goes to the original Odin 2. I find they have the biggest concave area for your finger to sit in, also while being easy to press. Saying that, the Odin 3s are not bad at all. They have a nice finish on them and work just fine. I really hope AYN puts trigger stops in their next model so that we have a choice on if we want a digital press like Nintendo Switch or analog for racing or GameCube games. In terms of ergonomics, I'd say the Odin 3 is the best of them all. It feels very close to the Odin 2, just in a slightly more compact way. Since it's more compact, it also makes it slightly better to reach for the D-pad, because of the placement being closer to the thumbstick. Now these all feel so different being different sizes, but I also love how small and rounded the Odin 2 Mini feels. You can really round over your index fingers and let the whole device be supported with only your fingers. Beside the Thor, you have to use your palm and your fingers to get comfortable. And without a grip, the Odin 3 is best at that. Speaking of grips, the Odin 3 grip is amazing. It's the best grip they have come up with thus far, even beating the Odin 2 Portal's grip. You can see here that it's even bigger than the Portal's grip, even though the Portal is a bigger device. They really did it right with making the bigger grip that really fits in your palm while also selling a TPU case that kind of acts like a slim protective grip. I was actually surprised I enjoyed that as well. I usually don't love grips personally, but this has to be the most comfortable handheld I've ever used with the grip installed. When a device is nearing 400 grams, I believe it should have a full-size grip. Anything around 300 grams doesn't necessarily need one, like the Odin 2 Mini at 320. I'm not sure what exactly happened when deciding on the fan for the Odin 3, because it's the loudest by a lot. It might just be because it's a more powerful chip. This has been a common complaint, but after testing all the fans and all the models, this one is definitely the most powerful. You can see here that it's pushing the cloth away while the Portal doesn't really move it at all. The other three models are very quiet, even at full speed, while the Odin 3 has an unpleasant whine to it. I will say I don't ever have it up that high, nor do you really need to. When this came out about a month ago, every review was very positive with a side of caution. Since this is the first time the Snapdragon 8 Elite has been in a handheld, the GPU driver support has not really caught up until now. There was no turn-up driver support for the 8 Elite chip when the Odin 3 was launched. This hindered Switch emulation mostly, and some PC emulation as well. But leading up to this review, we were seeing new turn-up drivers about every 10 hours or so. This really messed up my testing, but it was a lot of fun to try a new driver out, sometimes twice a day, to see what improved and what got worse. But to sum it up, I would say this chip is in a good spot now with Switch emulation, which is pretty much what the other reviewers were giving pause for on their whole review. Not to mention these drivers do help with PC game emulation with GameHub. This kind of became a Steam Deck Mini for me. But this is coming from somebody who likes to tinker. This isn't like a Steam Deck yet, where you can basically install a game natively and just play. This still requires a lot of setup and a lot of know-how, And even then, I would say it's still a low-end indie game machine. I did have fun trying to get Expedition 33 to run on it, but I was only getting around 15 frames, and that makes it pretty unplayable. But to see this run is wild. To put into comparison, my ROG Ally gets around 40 to 50 frames on 720p with FSR. This is running native Windows, of course. But what if we had SteamOS on an Odin 3 someday? Could it match the 780M GPU that's on the Ally? Maybe actually, because going off benchmarks, the 8 Elite matches the 7080M in performance just about. Native PC games on Android will probably improve someday as well, which makes this device a tinker's dream, to be honest. Playing my other systems I enjoy worked great after switching to Vulkan and some emulators. Streaming via Artemis was amazing like always, but now the decoding time is near 1 ms. This pretty much matched my ROG Ally and feels 1-to-1 when streaming. The 8 Gen 2 is still great though, and most people would never really notice the difference. It's hard to sum up who exactly this is for, but I'll try. If you are looking for the most premium Android handheld out there with the most power, then this is an easy buy. If you love to tinker and are interested in Switch emulation and PC emulation, then this is now an easy buy for me. Maybe you're interested in the potential of a powerful ARM-based handheld and hope Steam ports over its OS. For all these reasons, this is kind of a dream device for me at the moment. If you have an Odin 2, then I'd say it's a worthwhile investment to upgrade, unless you have an Odin 2 Portal. If you're more interested in the dual screen form factor, check out my video on the AYN Thor.